Thank you so much, guys, and welcome back. Welcome back. It's wonderful to be back out here, you guys. This is a channel that's gathered all mental health, movement, and motivation. It's so wonderful to be back. This is the very park that I was kicked out of about a month ago. So it's just fantastic and wonderful to be back out here, you guys. I want to jump into our topic today, which is dealing with what COVID-19 has taken away, and dealing with the people in your life. A lot is bubbling up, so I want to give you some tips and pointers on just dealing with some of the anger, resentment, and fallout that you may be receiving from other people, and helping yourself and helping them to walk through that. But before that, you guys, I would be remiss if I did not give a testimony first of just complete and utter gratitude for life itself this afternoon. I'm really just in a celebration of life. As you know, the East Coast has been so hard hit with this COVID. I myself, I got sick, thank you, Lord, fully recovered. And I have to tell you, it's just been, I was extremely grateful before. I think you guys know that. Just extremely grateful for life, for my work, for my family. But certainly there has been a heaping portion, a refreshed portion of gratitude as I'm supporting so many who have been ravaged by COVID-19. And you know, I know a lot of people, they've been impacted personally, physically by COVID-19, and they kind of want to hide, keep things under wraps. I have to say, if the hand of God, if this virus impacted you and the hand of God saw you through that, you need to be jumping up and down and saying hallelujah. You don't need to make a YouTube video about it, but you certainly, I recommend some fasting, gratitude, whatever that looks like for you. And I must say, it was so touching. I received notes from many of you just checking on me. So that really touched my heart. There's some distant family members I didn't even hear from. So thank you so much. You know, it's interesting. I had a dream about 6 months ago, and little did I know, even in that dream, the Lord was preparing me for this COVID-19 era and everything that is going on, and certainly the personal impact to me. Now, in this dream, and you guys, if you don't keep a dream log, I highly recommend you start keeping a dream log. I've been doing that since I was a teenager, and it's really powerful because we get so many powerful messages that impact us in our waking hours will come through your dreams if you simply open yourself up to that. So 6 months ago, I had a dream. It disturbed me to the point that I woke up the next morning and I was sharing the details of the dream with Andreas, and I said, you know, I don't know what this means right now, but it was just, you know, it's like I was there in Technicolor. So anyway, I want to share the details of the dream with you. I went to my front door, and of course, most of us dream at night, but the dream itself actually took place, if you understand what I'm saying, when I was in the dream world and dream realm. It was in the middle of the night. I got up, I went to my front door, and somehow the peephole in my front door, it was huge. It had become much bigger. And I looked out and I literally saw the angel of death walking down my street. I panicked and I stooped beneath my door, and I just said to myself, oh my God, I hope he didn't see me. Jesus, I hope he didn't see me. And when enough time had passed, I got up and I thought, sure, okay, good, I'm safe. He didn't see me looking at him. And just in that instant, I'm looking out this peephole, and I see, if you've seen any symbolic figures of the angel of death, it's just this figure wearing a cloak with no face. And this is what was staring back at me, if you will. No eyes, but I saw the cloak and just staring into darkness. And literally my heart just stopped. And this angel of death kind of stood there for maybe 2 seconds, turned away and started walking down the street. Didn't enter. I was scared to death he was going to come through the door. Didn't enter, just turned and walked away very slowly. And I knew in the dream itself, and even when I woke up, I knew this would have a meaning. It would reveal itself. I just didn't know when. So this last couple months, it has certainly revealed itself to me. That angel of death was really representative of this period of time that we're in with COVID-19. And specifically coming to my door was a symbol and a message. Gonna get real close, Sheila. Gonna get real close, darling. But I'm not gonna come in. COVID-19 is not gonna take you out. And so when I tell you I know that was a prophetic dream, when I tell you that I just really walk in humility and gratitude for being spared. I mean, you can look at this in a number of different ways, and a lot of people talk about, well, it's just older people being impacted. The majority of people are going to be fine. You guys, I don't think they even know enough about this virus to even educate people sufficiently. They're finding out things every day. I know of more than a few people who have passed away very quickly. These people very healthy, living their lives in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And they're not here, guys. They're not here. So the initial information is false. The initial information we got, which people were under the impression, oh, you're safe, you're fine if you're in this category. You guys, the reality is no one is really safe, and it's the grace of God. It's simply the grace of God. If COVID-19 calls your name, it will not be science and the information that redeems you. It will be the hand of God. So I don't pretend. I will reference the video. I posted a video earlier today talking about the necessity of taking care of your stress levels, because stress is a pre-existing condition. You guys, if COVID-19 comes knocking on your door and you're not in physical condition to mount that fight, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I'm here to tell you, I literally, and you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, I'm out either on my bike or walking daily. I take great pride in how I care for myself, my health, my well-being. I promise you, I went to get on my bike. I got was halfway into the ride, and I had to stop. I had to get off my bike because I couldn't breathe. I could not catch my breath. I said, Lord Jesus Almighty, And, comes to find out, I was impacted. I was affected. I had the COVID-19. It's not a joke. It's no joke. And I almost feel like, I don't want to say it's a toss-up 50-50 if you get it, but there are a lot of factors that come into play of, who will make it through and who won't. And I'm telling you, yes, it has to do with your immunity. Yes, it has to do with your health, you guys. But the factor that we just aren't talking about enough now, it also has a tremendous amount to do with the hand of God. So let's not leave that out. And my heart goes out to anyone who has been impacted in terms of your employment, your life in general. I mean, I don't know. This is affecting people in many different ways. So I want to get into the innards here of today's content, which is, how do you deal with the fallout, and the resentment, hostility, depression may not be coming from you per se, but it may be coming from a family member, a friend, someone who has been hit particularly hard with COVID-19, and you're getting a lot of fallout. Now, let me tell you why I'm bringing this up. I got a letter from a loyal subscriber, Trina, and she said, Sheila, my friend, my very close friend, she lost her mom. I have been there for her. I have been taking her food. I've been talking to her every day, trying to be there for her as best as I possibly can. And I'm just at a loss. It's almost like the last couple days, she's turned on me. Has literally turned on me, very snappish, distant, hung up the phone the other day. And I'm not gonna share the whole letter, but look, I'm just gonna tell you as direct as I can, please, as direct as I can. No one could have planned for COVID-19, okay? Let's understand that right now. And there are people, their losses, losing your job is bad enough, but there are people whose losses go beyond a job. There are people who lost a spouse, who lost their children, who lost a good friend. There are people who have literally, as a result of this, they've lost their mental health. The sanity is out the door, guys. There were people who weren't doing well before this, and these were the prime conditions that have come in and pushed them over the edge. So, Trina, I want to say to you and anyone listening, if you have someone in your life who has been just severely impacted by COVID with substantial, major losses, you got to understand a few things. Point number one, do not make it about you. Do not make it about you. How people grieve, you see all these grief models. You guys, they're applicable, but grief doesn't always work in a nice, neat, tidy box. It's a roller coaster for most people. One day you're feeling good and you want to connect. The next day, leave me alone. Some people, it's seclusion. They will retreat and go off to themselves. That's just their way of coping. It's not going to be on your timeline. Sometimes this may be people who you love very much, you are very close to, you've shown significant support to. But there again, you have to understand, I've said it in many of my videos, guys, numerous studies have come out and shown us how isolated we all were before COVID-19. Most people will tell you 17 years ago, most people had at least 4 or 5 people in their life that they could really count on and depend on. You guys, today that number is 0 to 1. 0 to 1. So a lot of folks, if they have lost someone because of COVID-19 or any other reason for that matter, you guys, that person may have been their whole world, their everything. You know, I can tell you right now, God forbid, you know, I hope my husband Andreas will be in my life for a long time, and my little Sophie, but God forbid something happens, I'm gonna need a minute. Okay, I'm gonna need a minute. It will turn my life upside down. I'd like to think and hope that I can incorporate the skills that I have and the skills that I've taught most of my life. That said, guys, people need a minute. They need a minute. I've had people to tell me that the frustration because they cannot provide for their family the way they used to, and they're under pressure and don't know what to do day to day, that is causing a psychological fallout. They're on edge. They're on edge. So I want you to keep a couple things in mind. You can support. Support is important. At the same time, give people their space. If you want to kind of time it out, well, you know, I may check them out once a week or every other week, and you don't hear from them. All right, you may stretch it out to every 3 weeks or once a month. You can always do a standing invitation. Love you, thinking of you, here if you need me, things of this nature. But don't make the mistake of putting yourself in an expectancy role that you are expecting something from them. You're just going to have to realize most people right now are doing the very best that they can. We are dealing with issues of capacity. It really boils down to capacity, guys. You're not going to take someone who was already struggling before this came up, you know, and expect them to miraculously have all the coping skills to deal with the loss. I was talking to someone last week. She's been let go from her position because the doors just can't stay open with all of this. And she lost her family, guys. Her co-workers were literally her family. Every day getting up, that was her social network, that was her paycheck, that was her connection. So I'm telling you right now, things are not always as they seem. They're not always as they seem. And then I have a little message for those of you who are listening, and you know, you may not be the ones in the support role, but you're the one who has been impacted by COVID through death, loss of employment, change in your emotional disposition. I want to tell you, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. That's first and foremost. Because if you wake up every morning and you're kind of beating yourself up, and there's that negative narrative that's going back and forth, oh my God, you're putting yourself so far behind the 8 ball. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a minute. And when I say a minute, I'm not necessarily putting you on a timeline, but I want to give you really something to think about. You can sit so long in despondency and despair that it becomes a way of life. Everything, whether you're grieving, suffering, what have you, devastated, it comes back to mindset. Winston Churchill once said, if you find yourself walking through hell, don't stop, keep moving. And I have to tell you that there is really something to be said about harnessing some level of movement for yourself. I can tell you it's one thing to be in despair because you have lost a position. Hey, I would too. But I'll tell you, the longer you stay in that space, very difficult when you put yourself into a stress response, fight, or freeze mode, to mount the kind of effort and energy you need to sustain new employment. So I respect the process, but you have to do some talking to yourself and create your own timeline. I can't give anyone a timeline, guys. You're going to need to create your own timeline. One of the things I do when I get knocked for a loop, and if you watch the channel, you know I've been thrown for many a loop-de-loop over the years. I used to kind of just let my mood and emotions organically heal and reconcile themselves. You guys, many times that put me in a bad place for 3 months, 6 months, in a few instances even longer. So guess what? I stopped. I give myself a timeline. I give myself a time limit. Okay, Sheila, you want to be in a funk? Well, if you want to be in a funk, do it the right way. Go get some chocolate, lounge around. You got 3 days, girl. You got 3 days. Or you have a day, or you have a week. But you got to get up, and this is what you need to have done in that time frame. So I'm for healing. I'm for processing, all of that. But you guys, I'm for movement, doggone it. You know, as they say, you have an obligation. And what is the obligation, Sheila? It is to preserve yourself for better days. This is, if you're fortunate, this is not the end of the line. And if you're breathing, you are fortunate. So I'm going to reference my video. Please watch the video, Depressed and Productive. Imagine that. And a lot of people hit a rough patch of depression or a loss, devastating loss, and they let everything go to hell. I worked with a hoarder. She went through a horrible breakup. At one point, she had a pristine home. This guy left her, and she let everything go to hell. And in 3 years, she was swimming in pizza boxes, old clothes. Could you imagine if she had said to herself, you know what? Come hell or high water, I at least need to keep my place clean. If I'm gonna be depressed, I'm at least gonna keep the place clean and go for a walk every day. You guys, she was swimming in pizza boxes, morbidly obese by this point. You'd be surprised. You can put on a lot of weight in a couple years. You could double or triple your weight if you keep eating and don't pay attention. So, you know, you have to decide here, guys. We've all been thrown for a loop-de-de-loop here, and it's going to be up to you, and it's entirely up to you how you decide to move, through this moment. There's been a lot of inconvenience. A lot of people have been inconvenienced. A lot of folks are suffering loss. But pay attention, because everything is bubbling up now too. I'm seeing a lot of surprising things that I didn't think I would see from people. So, you guys, yes, there's going to be anger, there's going to be resentment, but the other thing you have to keep in mind, whatever emotion you choose to lead with is the emotion that you're going to feel. Whatever emotion you choose to lead with is the emotion that you are going to feel, guys. So I could go on and on. I'll be back. The parks are open, so you're going to see me in the trails, on the trails a lot more. I've truly been divinely inspired. I already had enough content to take me past the year 2045. That's literally how long my list of ideas are for content. So believe me, you have a lot more coming at you. If you love what I'm doing and if you're enjoying it, please share the news of the channel with your friends and family. And you guys, thanks so much for your support. I'll see you soon.